Well, there we are.
Hi, everybody.
We decided to show up after all. We're just a few minutes late, but
Well, I did kind of post 8:30 to 9 o'clock because we were voting tonight,
We
and I
did
wasn't sure when it
go
was going to
voting,
be.
but I don't have it on anymore. I took it
I
and
do,
stuck it.
somewhere.
You had it on your chest.
Somewhere.
You had it right there, but it's gone.
I did.
Well, we did
moved
go
it.
vote. We just can't prove it.
I put it on over here somewhere, but I lost it.
I
now.
know. It was just there just a minute ago because it's like, you
I
know, you got
lost
that
it.
stuck on your neck. Maybe it's on your neck. No,
Nope.
not on your neck.
I must have just taken it off completely.
All right. Well,
So how are y'all tonight?
they are
So you're going
out
to
there,
introduce us?
tired from voting, and ready to chillax and watch a little bit of what we have going on today.
Yeah, introduce us. Let's
Guess
get
what?
started.
This is another episode of What Really Matters. And tonight we have the usual hosts, my beautiful wife, Michelle, and myself. And today we are going to talk about...
Do
what?
you still tolerate some crap from your spouse?
My goodness. Straight to the French, right off the bat. I'm telling you.
I don't hide who I am.
Yep.
See, that's one of his things he doesn't tolerate very well.
And she
That's
doesn't
okay.
tolerate what I just did very well either, which is kind of like, don't embarrass me or don't call me out on things like
Great examples.
Right.
Starting y'all out
Right
of the
off.
gate.
that. On the bat. See, we don't rehearse those every single time.
We haven't even rehearsed this at all. In fact, this is probably one of our least
That's not true.
rehearsed. Yeah.
It's going to be just fine. It's going to be just fine. That's just an email.
It is an email coming in. But it was a work email, and I was like,
Yeah,
what?
yeah. Let me
Why
check
is
my
that
microphone.
coming to...
Okay, it's all the way up. I got to make sure my
Okay,
mumbling
so
voice
we're
you
actually
can
going
hear.
to talk about has my tolerance faded, or has his or her tolerance faded? And the quick answer is going to be
You mean about each other?
yes.
About life,
like
politics?
my tolerance to you, has that waned any over the years?
What does my father have to do with this?
Oh my gosh, his dad's name was Wayne, and he's being a douchey. So, has my tolerance waned over the years?
We're talking and practicing on how to do this, and I'm saving all these things up to surprise her with as we go along. And she's like, why didn't we talk about that? I would have told you not to do that.
It's okay. So, we're going to talk about our tolerance levels of each other and what happens. But it doesn't necessarily just have to be with your spouse. It can be with anyone in your life. Because this kind of applies. But we are going to focus mostly on each other.
Right.
But, I mean, you can lose tolerance to a degree with your children. And I mean, like, wait till they're a little older. Not when they're little. Not
Yeah.
talking about that.
3-year-old. I can't. That's your job is to be
Yeah.
testing your tolerance.
Yeah, definitely. When they're little, that's
their
their
job.
job. But as adults, there's some things that, you can get. But let's talk about this. So,
In a relationship. Let's
yeah,
talk
we're
from
talking
that
about in a relationship. So,
specifically.
the spouses. And when you first get together.
Let's just ask the question straight out first.
Okay.
Has your tolerance of me gotten a little less?
I do tolerate less from you now than I used to.
Well, I could have answered it just like that. Yeah, of course. And it's not like it's one of those things where you think the answer should be, well, no, I tolerate you just as much as I did before. And I'd have to ask you why you're lying or why. And we're not talking about the kind of intolerance tolerating that
we're
is
going to cover more
talking about giant sins. We're talking about now. There's sins and things that are out there that just are no go. Okay, we're not talking about that. We're talking about the little things in a relationship
Yes.
that wear down the
but it can
relationship,
become,
interferes with the relationship.
But it can become big things. So that's what
Yes.
we're going to talk about.
Yes.
So when you first get together, you're just all lovey-dovey. Everybody's so cute and wonderful, and he does no wrong. And that's fairly true. I still, 30 years later, pretty much hold that to the same thing. Everything he does is awesome. However, leave my shower curtains
There could
open,
be somebody behind that shower
curtain. Or not
curtain.
changing out the toilet paper.
The toilet paper changes
roll.
itself. The fairy does it every single time it runs out.
And see, so that's the kind of tolerance we're talking about.
That's what the toilet paper fairy is for.
When I was trying to think of stuff that I could say without us getting really too deep with it, because there are some things that we don't want to tolerate from each other that are very personal that we're not going to share. But that's between you and your spouse. There's going to be some personal things that you're not going to want to be sharing with the world either. But you need to set a line, and that's kind of what we're going to talk about too, even with the deep stuff. And I get into that in one of the paragraphs. But
so we're kind of talking about borders.
Yeah, you're setting a line.
I mean, we're setting...
obviously, we're not talking about the fact that I'm going to chew his head off because he opened the shower curtain and left it open. It does bother me, and I do grumble every time because it's irritating.
It's almost like I do it on purpose.
Pretty much. Or leaving me with no toilet paper on the roll.
Oh, I giggle every time I leave it that way, too.
Very irritating, because I have these little short arms, and I have to reach behind me to get toilet paper, and it's way up there. It's kind of not so fun, but he thinks it's great. Or,
that's what that noise was this morning when you knocked everything over. Is that what that was?
You did not change the light bulb this morning.
It was dark.
But you changed it for yourself. So
later,
I had to take a shower in the dark.
It was 5 a.m. when I got up in the morning.
That's the kind of garbage we're talking about.
Nobody changes a light bulb at 5 a.m.
You should have changed it for me. So, here's what we're going to talk about. Your tolerance of your spouse is going to fade and wane, and then it's going to rebuild. And this is why. Yes, it's going to change over the years, and you're going to put up with less, but you may be putting up with more in different areas. What?
Because, we change and
different
areas of our life and grow and regress maybe in some others.
The biggest thing for you to know is that there's ways to avoid having it become big issues. Mm-hmm. And one of the things to do is, because the reality is you're tolerating someone else, anyone else, but especially your spouse, is a hard issue. And politically speaking, we always talk about, tolerance of the other side, whatever side you're on. And everybody always blames the other side of not being, tolerant and accepting and whatever. It goes both right and left to each other. That's a hard issue as well. So, even politically speaking, we're talking about it's where are you in your heart? Where are you with your walk with God? But especially now we're talking about with your spouse. So, the less that we get to have one-on-one date time or time together, then the less we're going to tolerate. Mm-hmm. So when when we were younger and he worked all the time and I had the kids,
right?
While it was a little distracting for me to have to deal with all of it, because I had 4 kids of my own. I took care of 2 extra kids, so I was tired by the time I got home. So being able to just say, I can't tolerate you not coming home to 8 o'clock at night or 9 o'clock at night, or depending on whatever it was a little different. Let me tell you something. Now and today, right now, if he was doing that, no. In fact, we've gotten to the point where I'm like, you know what? You can work late tonight. I've got my crochet with me. I've got my trusty little game on my phone. I can do this and stay at work with you because we work together now. We don't have.
It's not like she's giving me permission to do it. She's saying
I'm okay with it.
We've recognized that there's a need for that, and we can manage it together.
But
that's what we're trying to say.
It wouldn't be easy to do if we didn't spend time together doing other things at other times.
Right.
If we weren't going to church,
if we never saw each other,
going to see family, if we weren't just even relaxing together at night, just winding down with the TV, if everything we did was then I probably wouldn't be going, oh, yeah, babe, let's just stay till 9 or 10 o'clock tonight because you need to.
Right, or just because I want to, or just because I can, or
because
just because...
he's a workaholic,
No.
guys. Oh, yes. So now, one of the things you have to realize is there's a meme on Facebook that goes around that it says what you tolerate, what you accept, how somebody treats you is what, how you tolerate, that's how you're going to be treated. And I agree with that to a degree. You have to be a very loving person about it, though, because if he starts, we have a line. We have a line. I don't care wherever you want to talk about, whether it's, I'll use one that we don't ever even hide. He's not going to lunch with a coworker or, somebody else in business that I'm not there if it's a girl, because I have different things from my history that just doesn't allow me to go there.
Right.
So, I'm not going to tolerate it. It's not going to happen.
Right. It's a safeguard.
And he's not going to. That's a hard set rule. That's a hard set line. It's not going to move. And if he does it, he did once, he discovered what's going to happen because I'm not going to accept it. And that's the whole thing. You've got to set a line of what you're going to accept with how you're treated, with how you treat them. Because once you start letting that line kind of, well, he went to lunch. It wasn't any big deal. It's not that. And then you're like, okay, so now he's going to think, oh, well, if I can go to lunch with her today, then I can go to lunch with her tomorrow. It's no big deal because my wife handled it just fine. You know what I'm saying? Now we've pushed the line, so now he's just going to keep not using him as that he's going to do it. Everybody understand, this is just an example.
No.
But your line moves. You want to know how somebody becomes an alcoholic or a porn addict or a drug addict or hooked even on cigarettes or, game addictions. I can tell you all of them. It doesn't matter. You want to know how? Because they move the line. Oh, it's just a little bit now. I'm going to tolerate a little more. And once you allow it, then it just creeps in.
Doesn't even have to be that dramatic. It could be
right,
diabetes.
but I'm just saying, well,
obesity.
That's a great one. With your health. I mean, you apply it to your health. You cross the line, and we went and voted, and some friends of ours were at the voting thing. Mm-hmm. They work this every year. We get to see them there, or every time we vote.
Yeah.
And it's just awesome seeing them. But they had a bowl of candy tonight. And he's reaching down for candy. And I'm like, no, there's carbs, there's sugar, there's,
I was teasing with him. I said, oh, look, you even got candy here for voters. I'm a voter.
Right? No. So, but here's
Tootsie Rolls.
Yeah, so you've got to be aware of your tolerance level's going to change. But we're talking about like squeezing from the toothpaste. What part of the toothpaste tube are you squeezing from?
We're talking about the things that are little that you might allow to become big barriers in your relationship. When you step back and look at it, are pretty silly. But there's a lot of things that people come to us about that we're like, wow, that's kind of silly.
Another big
one, but not if it goes
is
unchecked and without having discussing.
Well, and another
the
big
issue.
One
How
is,
can you get all worked up?
If you picked up my phone, you can get into anything I have.
Right.
You could go to any computer I have. I hide nothing.
Right.
Because I have nothing to hide.
Right.
We have a lot of young couples that don't give each other access to their Facebooks or their whatever
and
other
you grab
social
that phone
medias.
and pull it away from you and say, you're not allowed in there. I have to tell you, no
there's
matter how long or what we've been together, I have to wonder why. What is there that we're keeping from each other?
So your tolerance is going to change. Now, in those instances, I would tell the young people they have a problem. They need to be open with each other with whatever they've got on their phones.
Yeah.
The reality is we don't go into each other's phones really a whole lot. I actually do go into his. I check his emails for him all the time, and I read his text messages because he's usually driving. But not because
part of our function for work.
Snooping. It's because I'm doing his.
Well, the funny part
work.
is, the more open you are with it, the less you need to do it.
Yeah.
And I mean, so we're not doing it for any of those reasons. It's just that if somebody actually, your phone rings and I pick it up and I read your text and you get offended by that, What's going on with that? All I did was going to say, hey, so-and-so or whatever.
Well,
and it's like, I don't get it. I don't understand what that is. That's not a privacy issue. That's a hidden issue.
We had a set of pastors that really set us a great example for making sure you didn't cross any barriers.
Right.
With the possibilities of, talking to the opposite sex too much and this kind of thing. And it was funny because I don't ever I don't have any guys in my phone, men in my phone, except my kids. And 2 younger guys, Preston, who's like one of my kids, and Josh, who's like one of my kids. And the funny thing is, because I'm kind of like, I almost feel guilty. Oh, and Aaron. I do have 3, but they're all like my kids. And it's usually because I need to text them prayers or things like that. One of them, we kind of try to do some smack talk when it comes to football, but I'm not very good at it. I try. But I usually
she takes her phone and throws it at me. Say something back.
I do. I give it to him. You have to go talk to him because I don't know how to smack talk. But the reality is we don't do anything that we're going to hide from each other, so it's no big deal that he sees my phone and saw that I talked to Preston or Josh or Aaron or whoever.
If we did have somebody who's not knowing of the boundary call, who happens to be a male, and they call you, you immediately find my presence in order to have the conversation.
Yes, I do that.
I mean, that's
not
simple.
hard.
The person on the phone doesn't have to know that,
nope.
But if that's going to be a reoccurring phone call, we tell them, please call me, or we'll just make an arrangement to where that way. And it just keeps... And the reason isn't because we're expecting anything to go wrong.
We're just being proactive.
We've learned from the pastors
to protect.
It's not that it little by little is how these things happen.
Right.
And all it takes is one other
line and you tolerate a little.
But if you allow somebody else that you don't know into your relationship, because that's kind of what it's doing.
Yeah, you're giving them access.
You don't know what their heart is, and therefore it could be something that could be used against you or deteriorate things that you've still. It sounds like we're overblowing it. It's not. This is the way you keep a healthy, safeguarded relationship, no matter what. And it's we do it effortlessly. It's not like we're like, oh, who are you talking to now?
Right.
No, it's not done that way at all.
We're together so much it doesn't matter. So if I am talking to, usually it's one of the 3 I just mentioned on the phone. A lot of times I just put them on speaker because
we're not talking about phone calls at the office. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about personal phone calls.
No. He talks to.
No, I mean for them to know that.
Yeah.
We're not saying women can never talk to men. That's ridiculous. That's not what we're saying.
That's not what I mean. I'm talking about in personal phone calls, trying to just, that's kind of our boundaries topic, which we did before. Yeah, we're mixing in a little bit.
Well, it is going to be blended in because that's
tolerating. One of the things that I was going to say is, sometimes it's really hard because we are not the same.
No kidding.
So you kind of think, wow, I have just married an idiot. Or he could think, what would you call me? I know I use the word idiot sometimes. But what is it that you have with
when everything is going crazy, you'll hear me in the corner of there, if you could hear me, saying the room is completely filled with idiots.
Oh, at the office?
Home?
At home
in
too.
the car?
Okay. So it does apply. That's all I wanted to know. So sometimes we think we've married an idiot. But here's the deal.
I'm surrounded by idiots. I say it all the time.
Generally speaking, you have married the opposite, not an idiot. So they're going to see things different than you. So you need to sit back and pull yourself back. And this goes with an argument we had the other night. And he let me know I was way out of line and needed to bring it back. And he couldn't understand my viewpoint because he's still going to defend himself, right? Because we're opposite. You have to try to put yourself in the other person's shoes to understand and tolerate some things because you have to know how they're thinking. And one of the things, so communication's huge. One of the things that we're really good at, that we've become really good at, especially over the last few years, is communicating without degrading the other one.
Right.
So if I have issues, I'm usually the one who has the issues, not him. I mean, I'll call it out, and that's fine. I'm usually the one who has the issues, and I'll have to go to
usually
him.
providing the issues.
A lot of times. And so I go to him and I'll say, this is about me, about
right
things that I still haven't gotten over in my past.
It doesn't have to make sense
whatever.
to you, but it affects
doesn't make
me
sense
greatly.
to you, but this is how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I have to get past how I feel because just my feelings aren't going to. So you just have to be able to honestly tell them what you're going through without attacking or blaming them for having done something. This that you have done has caused this in me because of whatever it was that brought it in. And they have to respond, oh, yeah, I never thought about it.
Well, hopefully that's how we're going to get the response. You're going to respond. You're not going to react. That's the first. You got some ground rules in your
Sometimes you're going to have
relationship.
some argument going on about it because you don't understand each other. But that's why we're talking. Trust me, it's not like we don't argue because we do argue.
Yeah, we do.
We do argue, and
But
we don't agree
the thing
on
that
a
we
lot of
do
things.
that we've learned to try and have more successful discussions,
Yes.
and to make them more progressive in the sense that they become more fruitful, is to remove the emotional aspect out of it up front. That she'll tell me, look, this is going to be one of those topics I'm not going to be good at. Here's the issue, and then we'll talk about it, but not from you made me so upset. All that stuff has been purged already, and it can still have some teary-eyed stuff going on in it, but it's not an attack. You hurt me.
There's a couple times that I've been like,
No kidding, because you're like a human being. But whenever we're actually, the whole point of the communication isn't just talking at each other.
Right.
It's trying to communicate with each other, getting around the emotional issues are some of the pivotal issues that we know we're just never going to get around. Those will exist, and you have to come to an agreement on those sometimes. But there shouldn't be a lot of those issues. You should be able to navigate yourself around most issues.
well, the funny thing is, sometimes
if
your
you
same
find yourself
issues
in a
keep coming
standstill,
up because, like for me, there's some stuff that I just can't get past.
right?
I don't know why. I've done everything I know to do. I've read my Bible. I've prayed. I've asked God to, heal it and take it away. And it's a mental thing. It's a mind thing. And it's stuff that hurt. It was, I can just go on and on and on about all this stuff. I cannot make it go away. And he's kind of like, just make it go away.
Just try a little harder, will you?
Yeah, because it's been long enough. And so, those things can come up. But the whole point of this is you're going to have different stages in your marriage or in your relationship. You are going to tolerate different things differently.
Right.
Like now, he wouldn't be working late unless I was there because we're together all the time. But he wouldn't be working late like he did when the kids were little because I wouldn't accept it. Back then, I accepted it. Well, one reason is I thought he was really working late, not that he was just hiding from me and the kids. That's one of the reasons. And the other one is I was so
you had too many kids.
Distracted that it didn't really matter. But now it's like I want to make sure I'm the focus, that we are the focus. So I wouldn't tolerate that. But, I just roll my eyes at the shower curtain and the toilet paper roll not ever being replaced.
We recognize...
I'm very intolerant of it in the fact that I roll my eyes and talk about it, but I'm not going to go, say anything to him.
We're just going to have to break up over this one. I mean,
but
get it in
some
perspective.
people will hold those things because it's like, well, you don't love me enough. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
So I know we're probably already supposed to be done. But... this makes me think there was an article going around on... I know, I'm interrupting you again.
No, gotta keep...
On Facebook, there was this article that I was reading, and it was about, she divorced me because I left the glass on the kitchen cabinet or something like that. I don't know what it's called. And so he starts talking about it. Everything that he says in there is about what you tolerate and what you don't tolerate. Now, mind you... I understood her point of view. Don't get me wrong. I don't want dishes left in my sink at night. And I understand what this man was trying to say was he never he didn't care, so he just did however he wanted to. And she tolerated it. She never said anything to him, but then she divorced him. I don't remember how this whole thing goes.
So she let that build up inside of her, and it grew and grew and grew, and never dealt with the issue in terms of the communication that we're talking about.
Right.
One of the
something
points
so minor that led to a divorce.
Right, because it can grow into something like that. That's kind of the things that we're talking about, because we hear about it all the time, which is why we're talking about this so specifically. The idea of less tolerance that we're trying, the idea that I'm less tolerant isn't meant to be, a bad thing in the way that we're discussing it tonight. Less tolerance is about having greater expectations. The things that we did when we first got together, you tolerated because you didn't know where it was going. Well, if you've been in a relationship for a while, you should have been communicating knowing where it's going, so that your tolerance is trying to share the same direction. It's like, well, you kind of said this.
From a man who said I needed to lower my expectations.
Yeah.
Because he didn't want to have to be held
Well, I can
to
explain that
standard.
too. It'll be a guy's night, and we can explain that because it makes perfect sense. We're not talking about that. Another thing, less tolerance is about a greater commitment, greater intimacy. These are the things the reason why you kind of like, why are we still doing these things? Can't we bring ourselves closer together and make the relationship
and grow and mature,
greater, more than where we were? It's like, do we want to stay this, childish state in our relationship all along? We need to mature. It's about growth. I mean, you're trying to get each other to grow past the things. You can't stay in the same spot.
Has to
it
grow
stagnates,
together.
And you're like, let's go to the next level.
That's why it shocks me so much when I hear people who've been married for
30,
20,
40
30 years, 36 years, and then they get a divorce, and I'm just like...
When did you guys stop communicating? That's the first thing I want to ask.
How did you get it? How?
Yeah, they stopped communicating. That's why.
Anyway, so...
There could be bigger issues, don't get me wrong. Someone could have made a terrible thing.
But one of the things that I want to talk about is when you're talking...
Don't overtalk the other person?
No, because I do it too when we're doing this. But that is one I hate that you do.
Throw them out there.
I cannot stand it. That one, no, I do not.
It's not over-talking, it's shared talking.
No, he over-talks and it really bothers me. But, and I'm not doing what I'm about to talk about right now.
Oh, okay.
So when you're trying to explain to your spouse, whatever it is, that you're over-talking really bothers me, you need to remember that this person is also your brother in Christ. I'm his sister in Christ. So if you were how would you be treating someone at church? How would you be treating someone that you're friends with, that you speak to? You would be treating them a lot different than you are the person that you're married to. And you're probably nicer to the other people than you are to this one. So you need to remember...
Now you're going to go like preaching like
Matthew,
an old preacher of ours. Preach it, girl.
Preach it. Blessed are the peacemakers in Matthew 5. So you need to think about, you really want to be a peacemaker when you find something that's testing your tolerance of your spouse. You need to make sure you bring it up with them, not explosively. And
sometimes a toilet paper thing is just a toilet paper thing. Other times it's a disrespect thing that's going on, and you got to kind of wean that all out.
Yes.
It could also be more than that, but most of the time it's not.
Right.
I just wanted to point out that the last thing with the expectations, things we're talking about, it's about purging anything that interferes with the relationship. The reason why you're so confounded by the whole thing is like, really? Why? We've talked about this. Why are you not honoring what we've talked about? So it's kind of a dishonoring for you to have talked about it over the years. It's like, okay, we've talked about it before. If it's the first time, then that's the first time you've talked about it. But
I can give you an example of us at the office, because I can tell you now. I'm just going to tell on
You don't think they could hear you telling me to sit up straight?
Probably. But at the office, I would never address him in a negative or raise my voice at the office, especially in front of other people. And yet, the other day, he did towards me. And not only did he do that, he turned his head in the direction of where there's only one other person in the office. in that direction
No,
of where that
that's
person
your
is.
warped interpretation.
No, you did it twice, and I was like,
No.
oh my goodness. And I just went and sat down at my desk because I'm kind of like, I would never have disrespected you that way. And then he goes, well, I didn't know I did that. Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Enough of this topic. Let's move on to the next one.
Right. So but see, the fact that I said something, he may not have really been aware. He may have thought that we were totally alone. I have no idea. I'm only bringing this up because you have to take something that bothers you like that to your spouse, but you can't just explode on them. You have to say to them, I would have, and this is what I did. This is what I said to him. I would have never addressed you that way with other people in the office. You know that. And he's like, oh, well, yeah, and then
I get it.
He was right. So, I mean, the whole point that I was trying to make with this, besides letting all y'all know he did that. No, I'm playing. It is over. I'm using it as an example of making sure you show each other the respect.
That's what we do every week.
But we don't tolerate, disrespect around, everybody else. I mean, you're not going to...
Well, yeah, I mean, it's no different than the church not tolerating all the nonsense that comes in at it from outside the doctrine. I mean, we're talking about a relationship and a godly relationship, and that those principles are embedded in that relationship to make them prosper and fruitful.
Well, there's these things you're gonna,
that we're talking about are not...
You do have to discuss what you're not going to allow in your relationship.
You better.
You need to talk about it. You need to set your lines. Don't let the lines move, because once they start moving, you're going to take on a lot more.
It's a natural thing.
It
gradual,
just happens, and people don't understand why some women allow, they'll stay with an abuser. It probably didn't start off as an abuser. It probably started off with just a few words here and there, you know what I'm saying? And then it kind of grew.
Yeah, that one's pretty complex. But
I'm explaining that can be how it starts.
Sure.
Because you've moved the line until it got so blurred that it wasn't... but it's the same thing with people, to me, who, the alcoholics and drug addicts and
the big ends,
all of the big ones. It all starts because you just do a little bit, and then you move the line a little more and a little more. So you do have to be careful with what you tolerate.
Yeah.
But you have to be. We're not
really talking about the major cuts.
We're talking about the fun, ha. You're not going to snore in bed with me. You're going to wear your mask tonight.
Right.
That kind of tolerance.
Things you can stop. We're talking about death by 1,000 cuts. All the little things in a relationship that can weigh it down, that are from silly little things to things that are just annoying to things that we're not talking about tonight, which are the major cuts in the relationship that definitely need to be dealt with. But we have a lot of issues that come to us that we see appear to be very frivolous if communication were to have been at the center of the relationship.
If they started off with it.
So these things become very minor right away, and that's where we find most of the strife that people bring is because they have taken small issues and allowed them to grow, and now they have dozens of issues, and they haven't talked yet.
Date your spouse. Even if you don't have money, you can still go do something with them and spend an evening talking, walking down the street.
But don't
walk a couple of
houses. But don't do the, we got to talk.
Back.
That didn't work.
I just mean spend time together where where you're talking about anything. It doesn't have to be, it's whatever topics, whatever is going on. Make sure you know your spouse. Make sure you know them.
Right.
So that, because there's a lot of spouses that they're not doing this, and it's a heart thing. And when you stop tolerating each other, it's because you've stopped loving, you've stopped dating, you've stopped being friends.
Well, we never said to stop tolerating. Nor did we say to tolerate too much. There's boundaries, and we've had multiple
saying, set your lines,
discussions and other episodes that talked about that with the boundaries one, and with there's a number of them that are out there we can point to specifically.
Get to know their love language.
Love languages helps a lot.
Y'all have heard that every week. The love language is huge. If you know their love language, you need to use it.
There's nothing greater than just spending time together and sharing. And in terms of,
I don't want to just spend time with you. I want you to say nice things to me.
Yeah, whatever. And I wouldn't know what the problems were if we hadn't been communicating. And
Right.
that's always where it comes back to. And then there's tools you can use to make that happen, which we've talked about in other episodes as well, that will get you communicating. Sometimes one's a talker and one's not. Well, that means that there's some
One
issues.
shuts down, one opens up too much. I mean, there's always your opposites.
Can be.
I mean, that's kind of
Yeah.
the way it goes. So we need to pray for them and get
Yep.
off because we've been on too long.
All right. Oh, there's your sticker. It's right there.
I told you it moved. I voted.
Yeah, I wonder what happened. Anyway, you gonna pray tonight?
I guess.
Your topic idea?
Okay. Father, I thank you and I praise you for putting us
Thank you,
together,
Father.
for giving us what really matters. And I ask that you would bless each and every one that's out there. Lord, I pray that you would minister to their relationship, that you would
Yes.
teach them what their lines should be for their relationship, Father God. I ask that you would just show them what they can tolerate and what they can't. Show them how to have fun. Show them to love each other and date each other. And I pray that their relationships will grow in you and that they will just put each other first and communicate and
That'll do it.
bring peace to their relationship.
Put God above all.
Yes, and I ask, Father, for you to bless them in all of the areas of their lives, whether they need healing physically, financially, and their relationships. I ask that you would just bless them and be with them right now in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, so we'll see y'all next week with a new topic. And I was going to tell you what it is, but now I can't decide what it's going to be, so I'm not going to announce it
Oh, there's
yet.
a couple. Yeah.
I've got 2 or 3 that I'm
Yeah.
thinking about. So
Doesn't mean you can't send me your suggestion.
right,
Send us
me
some.
one.
That'd be good.
Yes. Any
Yeah.
questions you have? Any prayer requests
Careful,
you
if
have?
you ask her, she'll answer
message.
it. All right.
I might.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching.